Welcome back to Lions Den, guys. If you've been here before, you know what's up. We usually do some Apex Legends stuff. We're going to jump right in talking about fucking finally, bro. Solo mode has been entered into the game. Will be entered into the game on August 13th. It is going to be a limited time only mode up until August 27th. It's part of the Iron Crown collection that they are dropping next week. It's going to be some new gear that comes in. Obviously, they're already leaking it. There's a new Wraith skin that comes out. Looks really cool. Obviously, fuck all that though. Clearly we know what we're talking about with this update. It's a mid-season update, it looks like, and we all know why we're here. It's fucking solo mode. This is long anticipated, basically since the start of the game. You know, when the start of the game came out, it seemed cool that it was the 3-player only. After a week, it's like, okay, we're solo modes, because people want it. They want the extra competitiveness. They want to be by themselves in that 1 on 100, it's Apex, so it's 1 on 59. But they want that feel, and they want it to be badass. So I'm just curious to why it took so long. And we're in the Discord. I'm talking with my guys, my buddies and stuff. It's like, why are they waiting so long? And then at the same time, why is it solo only mode? Is it to test it, to see how it changes the meta? Are they afraid it's gonna fuck up the style of the game? Do they not want to split the player base maybe? Perhaps the player base, obviously it's large enough. I don't see why. I don't think that if they put in a solo mode, people wouldn't play Crips, or the trio, whatever the fuck you want to call it, classic Apex. I don't think that's a thing. A lot of people are just complaining that there's no, a couple of the guys that I talked to, shout out to SX Shaboy on Instagram, Twitch, Dynasty XBL, and everything else. They straight up told me there's no challenge anymore. There's no incentive for them to play. They grinded that game every day for a really long time, and finally they're Predator, and there's nothing left. What else is there for them to do minus hunt a few skins and try to get some bullshit Apex packs and stuff like that? There's no incentive for them to come back and be challenged. They've hit the top tier. Last season it was cool because they did the regular game and then they dropped into Elite Queue. Super dope. It was unexpected. I didn't see that style of play coming and that type of competition, so that was really cool. Definitely innovative. Obviously, a lot of people have fun with it. Clearly, it was not ranked, so it's not the same thing, but definitely a dope mode. Then they came out with ranked, and now we're halfway through, and they're dropping solos. Guys, so I get all of that negativity and things, but I'm after the game's been out for 6 months, and when I look at that, I look at Fortnite, and I'm like, Fortnite's been out for 5 years, 6 years or something, and look at the scale it's at. Finally it's at, this kid just won $3 million in the World Championship or Finals for Fortnite. Rainbow Six Siege is on year 4. It's a smaller niche game than Fortnite. It's not free to play, but it's fucking killing it now. They're doing more tournaments. There's more organizations out, putting teams out for it. People are winning more money on it. So I really think that we really just need to not be as judgmental and so quick to judge as to saying Apex is dead, because the player count's there, and go do your homework. Go look. The player count is there. Yeah, of course it drops and it wavers and it comes back, but it's still there. It's still core plays. Millions and millions of people log in every single day, and the game's only been out for 6 months. A year from now, if we're having this conversation of why are there not solos, is the ranked mode good enough, things like that, then yeah, no, the game, we won't be having this conversation a year from now, because the game won't keep up. But we have to keep in mind, it's a free-to-play game. It's been in the works for a while, and they dropped with no advertisement, no nothing. They tweeted out the day before it dropped, hey, we're dropping this new Battle Royale game for free by EA. It's in the Titanfall universe. Haha. And now look at where we are. Don't forget, we've gone all this time, made all this progress in 6 months. So I really just want to give out, shout out to the dev team and things like that. I feel like they're really trying to accommodate the community in the best way. But it's difficult to not fuck up the culture of the game and the environment of the game by making dramatic changes all at once. They don't, you don't want to turn away all the core player base and things like that. And I do think that the developers have the best vision in mind possible for us as gamers and what we want to see out of this game, I think it will come through and be a really, really strong competitive game at the end. I mean, if I'm them, I'm thinking, they're sampling stuff. They're tasting. This game's only been out for 6 months. It's something they've never done. Look at the way it dropped. The game dropped free to play, fully kitted. Every legend has their own abilities, different character hitbox sizes, different guns, and then they put in, it's 3-player, which is standard, but across the Battle Royale games that are out there, that's not standard. So I think they're sampling things, they're tasting, they're trying to figure out what works best. They don't want to be the next cookie cutter fucking Fortnite or the next PUBG. And even look at PUBG. PUBG's been out for years now, and at first it was really good, and then they pushed to console, and it was it was rocky, servers were rough, things like that. And now PUBG has, 4 or 5 maps, bunch of new guns, bunch of attachments. My cousin plays that game all the time. That game is always up. It's one of the top stream games out there, minus Fortnite and Overwatch and PUBG, really. So I think as a community, we shouldn't be that quick to judge. I think we should be grateful for what we have. And if you're really that bored with Apex, you know what? Come back for the week that it's out of solo modes, crush it, post your leaderboards and shit. And now it gives you some time to go play a different game, go do something else, go try anything. And then when more content comes, it's fresh, you're eager to play, and it's not as difficult. I mean, I don't want to say, it's not as boring, rather, is what I meant to say. It's not as boring, it's good for you, and I think it's good for the game in the long run. So that said, that's basically all the news I have for you on Apex Legends as of right now. When it drops and they come out with new updates, new patch notes and things like that, I'll go over that. Just check their Reddit, check their websites. You can do your homework, you can read it, you're not idiots. The second part of this video is what I'm going to talk about. I'm just going to go into it real quick. Obviously, we know if you live in the U.S., honestly, you probably know it if you live elsewhere. There was 2 mass shootings last weekend, back to back. I think it was 31 people killed, I believe, in the state of Texas. And I'm not making this about politics, and I'm not going to choose a side here, because you can believe whatever you want. That is why we live in the greatest country in the world. That said, when a portion of the population says that gun violence is because of video games, and because our children are playing violent video games too early, is 150% bullshit. Video games do not equal violence. Okay? If you go do your homework, go on the fucking look at everything from psychology, look at everything from Harvard, everywhere where all the smartest people are. I've done some homework on this. I used to argue with kids in my educational psych class about this. This is a thing. You can find it out. There is little correlation, and there is definitely no causation between mass shootings and playing violent video games. Okay? Studies show that violent video games do desensitize younger kids to violence. Okay? It does statistically increase aggressive behaviors within those children. However, that said, there are so many other factors to that, such as the environment that child lives in. Where do they live demographically? What's their socioeconomic status? What type of parenting style do their parents use? Other forms of media that they consume. Are they watching movies? What are they watching? Are they watching Disney movies? Are they fucking watching Die Hard or Saw and all these other crazy movies? There's so much other media out there, never mind with the internet and the fact that parents don't know. And if you're a parent and you think you know what your fucking kid's doing on the computer, you have no fucking clue. So it's not even a thing. All of these behaviors and these stigmas and blah, blah, blah can be pulled from other variables other than just saying, well, my kid played Grand Theft Auto one time, that's why that kid shot up that school. That is bullshit, okay? And to piggyback on it, other countries, let's talk about other countries. Japan and South Korea, for instance. Those 2 countries alone have the highest spent money per capita on video games in the entire world. They have some of the freshest video games. They have some of the newest video games. It is ingrained in their culture, video games. And they have some of the lowest, okay, mass shootings, lowest gun violence statistics in the world, okay? One of the lowest, well behind the United States, okay? These countries also have stricter gun laws. I'm not advocating for stricter gun laws. I'm just pointing out that these countries have more video games. They have more violent video games because of that. They have less guns in stricter laws, and they still have less shootings than the United States does, okay? So shifting the blame to games, to video games, is bad for the video game industry. It's bad for our country because it doesn't solve the true issues at hand, okay? It doesn't solve that a lot of these people have mental issues. It doesn't solve, again, all of the other variables, the environment, the parenting styles, and where these people come from that that leads up to these things happening. And I am truly sorry, and I feel bad, and my sympathy goes out to these families that are suffering, these communities that are suffering because of these actions. But if someone, out of emotional reasoning, believes because a politician or an industry that has their money not in video games wants to frame the issue to the public that video games are bad and they're going to use video games as the scapegoat for these disgusting, malicious travesties that happen in our society, I am fucking appalled, because those people, of all people, all of the politicians, the media, and all of these rich companies have a larger responsibility than the average citizen to deal proper information out to society and to solve these real issues. That's why they were voted into our justice system. That is, our government. That's why they were voted into the position they were in. That is why we go to the media for the information that they have. And that is why we buy these products from these fucking companies, because we trust them to give us the proper information, the proper resources, the proper tools, and the proper products. So when we produce these games, play them, and then you say that these acts of violence are because of video games, is 100% bullshit. I agree that it is important to nurture children and teach them in a proper manner, because yes, the violent video games and movies and etc., but video games specifically, can elicit aggressive behaviors out of the child and whatnot. There are so many other variables that go into play. So just keep that in mind, please, every time you hear this, because it's genuinely bad for the gaming community as a whole. I don't give a fuck what game you play. It's bad for the community, and it's bad for the industry. It's bad for everyone that doesn't play video games. If you hate video games, it's still bad for you, because you're getting bullshit information and you're taking it at face value because you trust these people or these companies and etc., and you're not doing your own homework. So when someone says, I don't give a fuck if it's your mom or the fucking Pope or the president or whoever in whatever country, the parliament, whatever it is, if they say that it's because of video games, that is bullshit. You can have a very small correlation to violent video games and then violent actions in a human being, but you cannot sit down and say that it was caused by it. And if you think I'm wrong, go back to 2011, when California tried to pass a law banning violent video games to a certain proportion of society, and it went all the way up to the Supreme Court, and they said that it was against their rights and that there was no causation there, and legally that they cannot pass that law because that law has no ground to stand on. Okay, that's my rant. I apologize if I offended anybody, because this is my opinion, and I'm not trying to say that I am sympathizing with any type of shootings or anything similar. I think it's disgusting and it should not happen. Gun responsibility should be taught at all times. I don't think that I'm not trying to cherry pick a specific person. I know I said politician, media, etc. I know you thought of someone. I'm not picking a specific one because all of them do it. I'm just making the point that I hope you understand that when they do say that, you can then stop, think to yourself and say, okay, no, that's not true. That has a sliver of truth in it. And there are so many other variables that could have led up to this travesty, whatever disgusting event. Literally insert, the last 10 of the last year and a half. So take everything at face value, okay? Just take it with a grain of salt. Do your own homework. Think for yourself and stop just listening and saying, oh, video games are bad, because it's bullshit. And next time someone says that to you, tell them, educate them, tell them no, because you know what? It's bad for games. If you love video games that much, that type of propaganda is bad for the gaming community. It doesn't help us grow. It even puts a further stigma on gaming. When you think of the old guy, all he does is watch sports, and his grandkid wants to fucking play Fortnite because this kid just won $3 million playing Fortnite. Granted, that basically is like hitting the lottery, but that kid's put in all the work and done it. Now his grandkid wants to play Fortnite, and he's like, oh, my son doesn't want to play sports. Oh, it's because of video games. And then he sees this, and a politician says it, or he sees it on the news or whatever, and all of a sudden he's like, well, this is why games are bad, blah, blah, blah. And his grandkid is straight A's, plays in the Town League baseball, and he likes to play Fortnite more than he likes to play Town League. All of a sudden, it's a fucking problem. That's bullshit. That does not mean that this kid's going to grow up to be a fucking murderer or a crazy, whatever, insert blank, dude. It's not going to happen. It's not a thing. That said, have a good fucking day, everybody. Take care. And I apologize if I offended you, but that's the truth. That's really how I feel. I try to keep it light and upbeat, but I had to get serious with everybody for a second because reality hits, and this is the world we fucking live in. And, I'm going to defend the shit that I love and the people that I love and the things I love to do. So I can't just watch all these things and read all these articles and just have everybody just blackball video games because it's a load of fucking shit. Have a good fucking day, everybody. Take it easy, and just, next time you're out, just, be nice to that person and say hello and just try and educate people as much as you can. And before I forget, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that dislike button. Please drop some comments, but also please do not just drop comments freaking out, talking shit to me and saying like, oh, this sucks and I'm an idiot. Like, I'm not trying to offend anybody. I'm not picking a side. I'm just making a point, okay? It has nothing to do with my political affiliation. It has nothing to do with what I believe. These are just facts that I've read and I've saw and I've learned. So just take it at face value and learn for yourself. And don't forget, I'm going to be dropping another video next week, so make sure you hit that notification bell, and we will tune in. I will see you later. Have a good fucking weekend, everybody, and stay fucking killing it.